Yeah. All right, Goose. All right. I like it. Rex, Rob, Arturo, channel members, Amy, Brian, Darren, Cliff, Jason, Ivan, Bob, Sergio. Thank you all for being channel members. And welcome to the show, everybody. Looks like we got Skaggs, we got Marianne, we got Gary, we got Craig, we got Francois, Jay, Ryan, Diana, Steven, Donald, Larry, Wade, Rosalind. Good to see everybody. And just so you know, there is premium member content you can't get anywhere else from me, available by being a member of this channel. Just click the little button down below to be a channel member, and you can get access to that content. They are pre-recorded videos, and I do post other things. I got some other stuff I'm going to post. And teaser, I'll have stuff from culinary school going there after the show here today for lunch. Putting on their first big event for the public. I guess for invite public, be interesting. My son was pretty excited, making like roast duck breast and all sorts of craziness. So we'll see what they do, and I'll have some pictures of that I post for those premium members. Anyway, glad to have everybody. So PPI out this morning, and the robo event. Well, they didn't announce the thing. The thing that the market kind of wanted, I'm guessing, just based on, I kind of keep a pulse on these things. The thing that the public really wanted was a native rideshare app built into Tesla. Like, they wanted to know that Tesla was going to roll out a rideshare thing. While they kind of teased that, kind of sort of, except we wouldn't be the drivers. The cars would be the drivers. It'd be an autonomous kind of thing. Like, you can let your car go and then call it back when you need it. They kind of briefly touched on that a little bit, but that's going to be years out. So the market, a little bit of heartburn on that one. And we're down a little bit on Tesla this morning. So that's not the greatest. And then the PPI causing a little bit of spark in the market. Not a lot of it, just a little bit of spark this morning. And flip my camera over. So there you go. We came in with PPI basically 0% on the month-over-month. Core at 2, which kind of expected. Core of 2, so just came in line. We got the month-over-month PPI flat. Sounds like some of the stuff that's not in the core came in negative and drug the whole rating month-over-month down. So we just maintained prices. No raise, no drop. Flat prices for producers. And that's kind of it. Lately we've been seeing a little bit of volatility off of these consumer sentiment and inflation expectation numbers right here. The bots seem to like those numbers lately. They react. It's not that it's a surprise for any traders, but the bots started reacting to those numbers a little bit. And I guess if they're out of the more than just a little bit off of 70.9, we're going to see some reaction here on that one. And they didn't have an expectation for inflation right there, but if that one comes in spicy, we could see a little bit of spark. Yeah, all about the vision, short on substance. Yeah, like Skag says in the chat there. That's kind of like, yeah, he really laid out the vision and showed off some cool toys, but he was like, we can't roll it out now. Next year we'll roll out unsupervised full self-driving in California and Texas. Okay, I don't live in California or Texas, so I think that was where the disappointment kind of came from. It's like, we're not on the cusp of this whole thing. And then he's like, the robotaxi, he was like, I want to say 2026, but I'm usually too optimistic on the timeline. So let's say by the end of 2026. So the market wasn't keen on all that. And then they kind of rolled out a robobus and then an Optimus robot, which I think he undersold the Optimus robot. That thing, if they could ramp that thing out, I think people would buy the crap out of that. Like a $20,000 robot that Some of the video, it was like serving drinks and doing this, that, and the other. But if they could do it like, if they could get it where it could reliably do household chores and stuff like that, that'd be pretty wild. Have the robot out there mowing your lawn or something. I mean, they already have robo mowers, but I mean, imagine it could, hey, I need help digging this ditch, and then the thing's out there like digging the ditch. It'd just be interesting. Could be interesting. Anyway, that's PPI for you. That's the robo event for you. We can go look at the charts. But first, something jumping through my mute. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instruments, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. Don't trade. All right, don't trade unless you know what you're doing. If just the default, just the plain Jane default trade you make, 50-50 odds. Right? You get into a trade, 50-50 odds, win or loss. And, the way humans work, we kind of go into stuff we think is going to be great, and then that kind of maybe it ups the odds to it being bad. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. So, 50-50 odds, but my goal is to try to help you find edges in the market. And my high probability roadmap pattern, that's an edge. Like, it wins more than it loses. That's an edge. But you got to make sure you trust people. Make sure you trust me. Don't just be like, well, JT, you threw out that pattern and I just blindly followed it. You got to make sure you do your own work. You got to trust it. You got to believe in it. And how do you build that trust? You paper trade them. All right. This is not a race. It's not even a marathon. People say it's a marathon, like trading's a marathon. It's not even a marathon. All right. This is a new way of life for you to take interest in your own personal financial well-being. If that's not you and you just want to hire somebody else to do it, you need that personal financial advice, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I do. I'm not here to give you advice. I'm just here to show you what I'm doing with some high probability stuff. And I'm always on the hunt for new stuff. Today is the first day I built the Morning Monster list in an automated way. And hopefully it didn't mess it up. So we'll see. We'll get into that here in a minute. Tesla. Let's check it out on the pre-market here. We have to go to extended hours, and you can see, ouch. And actually, this didn't just drop. It actually dropped 5% while he was talking during the robo event. When you look at the 24-hour markets, like at Robinhood, while Elon was presenting this vision of the future and not giving us substance with actual hard products that are coming out, we saw that dropping. And then when the market reopened at 4 a.m., it dropped to match that kind of price right there. So we're down $10-ish, $16 it looks like now. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. About 7%. So looking at the bigger picture though, jumping back up, well, there we are, right at the roadmap line. Kind of mentioned that yesterday. And we might see that. There we are. We want to hold this area. Well, the 618 and the roadmap line, right in that vicinity right there. We want to hold this area right there. We'll hold that area. Hold that retest. Bounce and go. Now, what's coming up? Right there. Next thing coming up for Tesla. That could be the big, we could drift off into earnings. And then bounce. Those earnings coming up not too far away, 23rd of October. No, if you're new here, haven't been around for a few cycles, Tesla's earnings 70+% of the time tend to be a little bearish on the reaction. So we got to be cautious here. Now, since we dropped down pretty big today, if we drop down, find support and start bouncing, we'll have to watch out for that earnings because it could cause another dip. All right. So if we're cruising up into earnings, watch out for the dip. And if we break this, it's not what I want to think about right now, but if we break that, we're coming back down. Coming back down. There you go. I am long Tesla right now. So optimistically we'll go up, but we don't have to. We don't have to. So could break support and go cruising on down. That's the bummer of the way this all works. All right. Moving on, moving on. Yes, was chopping around a little bit. Let's go zoom in and see what kind of we get reaction. Yeah, there's this candle right here. That's the PPI pop. Volatility right there. Like I said, a little flash of volatility. And jumping on down 5 minutes. You can see it right there a little better. A spike up, a little dip, just kind of clearing stops maybe. Now this move up off this low, this is super low time frame here, but it is 5 waves in nature without overlap. Right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a high. Right up here, pop, big tall high, getting the retrace. Just looking at the small time frame 5-minute chart, this is how I figure out what's happening next. So if we can hold this, this is where this low comes in place. All right, that's a 5 waves in nature. This is a retrace, 3 waves in nature. We've got to hold that low. This is where the important level comes from right now in the short term, and we're just looking at a 5-minute chart, so this can all evaporate very quickly. So that's the low that's important. This is the high that's important right now. This level right up here, this 618, that's indicative. We're going cruising on up here. So if price bounces up here now, get above that 618 level, probably cruising on up to a minimum of this area right up in here. And it would be highly likely we'll see an extension up to this 5850 area right up here. Highly likely. So that would be kind of the zone right there. If, now that's a big if at this point. If right there. Now I am on delayed data, so this could already be failing. But it's 10 minutes delayed. So that's what to watch. And the market will be open in just a moment. Well, yeah, 2 moments. 2 moments. Moment and a half. And so that's a level to watch right there in the futures. That's a level to watch on the futures. We break up, going up. Break down, probably coming down to a lower low. Somewhere in here, 5,800. Now, zooming out. That's just the small baby time frame. That'll all play out in a few minutes probably. Looking at this right here, we have that high right there. We've got this low moved up, and this is all part of a correction, it looks like. Lower highs, higher lows. Ugh. Could we bounce out of here? Yesterday I thought we might, but we failed and came back down, made a higher low. Sometimes they take longer than I expect. Although this is nesting up pretty nicely. So the secondary warning sign, if we break below this low, this correction is going to go deeper. And sets us up for 5,800 down here. That sounded like the market was open. Just heard the ring in the other room. There goes a bunch of alerts. SPX actually looks like we're just going to rip. See if we can do it. All right. NASDAQ still needs to get the extensions. We found that resistance right there. Just kind of churning it up. Made a higher low so far. Next resistance, 20,950. And then the target up here at 21,500. We've had that target for a while. Nothing changed. Just working on the next move. 21.5, 21.6, something like that. Yeah, 21.5. All right. Russell. This one. So here's the deal. Like, does the market grind this down till we get what might be a head and shoulder, like the head completed. Then we get the rally, take NQ and ES higher, make a lower high here, and then start down, and then we break the neckline and crush. That's the concern I have with Russell right now. Right there. Keep an eye on this one. Oil, back up in the zone. Up in the zone, auto zone. Let's see. Can we flip that to the other side? Does it go to the left? No. It's kind of stupid. Won't let me flip it to the left. Oh well. Oh well. I was going to flip it over the other side, but not going to happen. All right. So we've got that high, we got that low. If we break out above, obviously the roadmap line being resistance. It was resistance here. We've rejected resistance here so far. Not liking the fact we're lower, but let's dive down in a little bit lower time frame and see what we got cooking here. Look at this. That's really nice. Really, really nice right there. So we came up, we busted down through, rejected, made the low, came back up through, finding support at the roadmap line. This is encouraging. We may see an extension. Now, I know it's a little bit hard to see. I apologize in advance. Or maybe not in advance. Maybe just apologize live. If we can hold that, maybe, maybe not, but that projects us. If we break and go, that projects us right up to that downtrend of highs. And if we can break through that, that sets up the bigger run higher right there. I do like this potential. I like the potential. This is one of those things like, where are you going to be wrong? You're wrong on a break below this. If we get below 70, like 71.50, not looking good for the current. We're just talking about maybe 3, 4, 5 days here on this pattern that pop up here. Maybe even faster than that. Maybe just today, but maybe a week. Maybe if you were going to try and play this right here, I'd give it at least 2 weeks to play out so you don't run out of time. But we're talking about this playing out in the next week. We're either going to pop up here or we're going to break down through support and go lower, potentially. That's the opportunity right here on oil. I am long-term out to 2027 long on oil. Now you say, how do you play that? I did this. This is ultra. Be careful. I warn about leverage instruments. Cut both ways. I went with the daily chart. I bought a 27 put. No, strike that, reverse it. I bought a 27 call, sold a 37 call against it out to 2027. Looking for that move right there. I think it was 27. Maybe it's 20. Maybe it's late 26. Looking for that move right there. And then I have a $40 call on top of that. Set of, I didn't just do one spread, but I have a few. So I bought, this is when we were down here. I bought the 27, sold the 37. You see the range we've been in, right? Widen that range, JT. Where have we been topping out? 37. Where have we been finding support? Right around 27. So I played a move for this to happen again. Then I have a call sitting here at 40. They were not nearly as expensive as these down here. If this plays out, we break out, run through the 40. Looking pretty spicy right there. That'd be pretty nice. All right. So it's about taking those long. I like to go after the long-term opportunities on these charts. I talk a good game about all the short-term opportunities, but I sit here, I put the majority of my money into stuff like this. It's sitting out there years in advance. All right. Years in advance. So does it? I don't know which it is, Oliver, but usually we got to get a candle close, whatever time frame you're watching. So the way this works, I have two main patterns. All right. One's the roadmap pattern. We get a trend like this. It bounces off the roadmap line. Then we're looking for, you go from the swing high. I should draw the other part here. Comes up, retraces, bounces. We get a move up. It has to get a candle close above the 618, whatever time frame that you're looking at with the roadmap line. And this can be down below the roadmap line. It doesn't matter too big much, but we've got to get the candle close above this as the conservative trigger. That sets up the high probability pattern for this move from here to here. All right, that's pattern number one. The other pattern, a little bit like that's the roadmap pattern I talk about all the time. That's the trigger. That's the setup. When I talk about the statistics and stuff, when I turn on the Apollo pattern over here and we look at this and we're like 62% of the time that it uses the 618, close above the 618 as the trigger. This is long only, and it uses that 1448 or 90% of the way to the 1272 as the target. So you can see that one failed right there. Tried to bounce, failed. A little bit flat and choppy. So when it was trending, boom, right up the target, boom, right up the target. And it's not aggressive on the targets. It's a very conservative target, high probability. It just grabs a little piece over and over and over. Over and over and over. And I have tools that check 3,600 of these tickers every day, and that's where the bonus trade comes from that I've got on the list today. So that opportunity in oil is out there. It's a long-term opportunity. We're not talking about like get into this with some January options, January 25, and you're going to make a mint. I think this is going to play out over a much longer time frame for the big move. This little move from 27 to 37 could play out into 2025, but I'm looking bigger picture on a bigger move. And when we zoom out just a little bit, you can see this potential right here on the leverage chart. Sometimes leverage charts are where it shows up. That wasn't what I wanted. Clicked the wrong time frame. So we've got this 3-day. We popped up through. We've retraced back. We're holding. That high, that low. If we bust through, we could be looking at 63 to 72 right there. Possibly even an extension to 100. That'd be pretty wild. It's out there. That potential. And we're just talking about this. So we're talking about a move that could take a little while. That's why 2027 on this. It could be out till next summer. I mean, it could be... I might run out of time, but it could be well into, if we just kind of match that climb rate over here. That looks like about the climb rate. Put it up there. That's February 26th. So all the way through next year into 2026. So how do you make sure you have a little extra time? You go to 27. I'm either late 26 or early 27. Can't remember which one it is. Got too many of those long-term plays going. And they just released the ability to go to 27. So GC. Flip over, take a look. Grinding it, baby. Grinding it. Right back up to the box. Can we pop it out? I don't know. Back in the box. I'd like to hope it's going on the run. Need to look at silver. We did the retrace back to the classic. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, holding above, didn't overlap, potential to get 5. 5 at this point, potentially off that low, would put us right up here in this 35 target zone where I've been saying 35 for a long time. Right there over the coming 1 to 2 weeks, maybe. Could be out to the end of October. 2 weeks-ish. You know, look, that's the speed it's been moving, right? If we launch off of there, we're looking at 24th. That's 2 weeks. 24, 25, 28, somewhere in there. That's what we're looking for silver right now. I have those November options, which we're getting closer to November. Hoping this plays out. So I've got I sold these spreads down here in August. I sold, what were they? I think they were 25, 26 spreads. And then I bought a 31, 32 spread. That 31, 32 is just hanging right at the money. It was slightly in the money, completely in the money here, and then we pulled back, and it was like, whew, come on now. No, it's a $2 spread. It's a 30-32. A 30-32 spread. And I was just looking for $1.50 on it. Of course, a spread on SI is $5,000 a contract. $1 on silver is $5,000. You think about, normal options, you get 100 shares, represents, well, one option on silver, 1 point for one option is $5,000. You're used to options being 100 shares and $1 is $100. Well, these are $5,000 right here. You make $1 on silver, and that's $5,000. So be careful when you're playing in futures contracts. They're not all the same. Like gold is a different size, ES is a different size, NQ is a different size. You got to know your futures if you're going to play in that realm. And Bitcoin is like 10 Bitcoins, I think. It's crazy how big the contract size is. And mini MBTC one, this, man, it didn't even pull up. But the micro Bitcoin it's still 5 Bitcoins. Craziness. So Bitcoin held the roadmap line so far. If we can break above, looks good. Does concern me. We're not going to do it though. That did void that with the lower low yesterday. So now we've got a 3-wave retrace. That high. Held the 50%. So measured bounce over here, a little deeper than we liked. Measured bounce over here, a little shallower than we like. And by their powers combined, we might be able to see a breakout. Just this one would put us right up in here. The other one should put us up to 85 or 89, something like that. I think it was. Line up this one. Yeah, 82. Got this on the, yeah, I've got it on the log mode. So. Hopeful for the breakout, but if it fails, it's going to be ugly. This is scaring me right now. Just going to be totally honest. Really nervous on this one. Do we reject the little baby head and shoulders? Pop up to the roadmap line? Or do we knee jerk it and pull back? This is one of those, I drew this on the chart, and now we're here. Which one are we going to do? I mean, it could fail and do neither, but eventually it's going to break one or the other. I don't know. All right. Dollar. Right up to that roadmap line. I think we're going to find some solid resistance. We may push through it just a little bit. but I think we're headed down after this. So another few days. And when we turn down, that could take the market higher. So this might grind it until the market wants to turn. Now, just because the dollar's dropping does not mean the stock market's popping. The dollar and the stock market can move in the same direction. Counterintuitive to what you hear in the mainstream media. But so really the dollar has nothing to do with the stock market. But in general, just generalized terms, when we're drifting down in the dollar, the U.S. market goes up. When we're running in the dollar, this is on a bigger time frame, you can kind of see it playing out over here. Like in 21, 22, in 22 particularly, we were pulling back in the stock market and the dollar was rallying right through October. And then we started pulling back on the dollar and the market started rallying. We've just been chopping sideways in here while the market continued to rally. So funny enough, weaker dollar, stronger stock market. Stronger dollar, weaker stock market. That's kind of the general, just very general, broad brush, but you can't do it on a daily time frame. NKD, I really want to see this baby break out and run. If we can break out, this is set the stage to run up to 44,000, and the U.S. market will probably follow along. Right there. Tesla, we already touched on. Now look at that. Touch the roadmap line. Beautiful. And that just happens to be also the downtrend of highs. If we can hold that, this is an important level to hold. If we can hold it, probably going to launch. Now, JT, how do you know? Where's the entry? That high, that low, 618 right there. That level. Get a close above it. Probably going to the extension. At least 273, 280. At least. It's not a trade till you're above that. If you buy aggressively now, be ready to bail if we start down here and get a daily close down in here. Because I don't know how long it'll take. All right. What's popping? What's dropping? Here's the automated list. Today, BlackRock is at the extension target for the last little bounce there. Crazy extension. And we've set the stage to rally on up. Rally on up. Rally on up. This high, this low. There's the next resistance zone for the next pop in this zone right up here, 1100 to 1200 zone. Boom, 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 boom. Race. Ferrari. Now, despite the potential, let's be honest here. Could be a 4-hour bounce, but, and you know, it did bounce here a couple times off the 4-hour. Got those extensions. That was good. That was good. If we trigger it, that could work. I don't typically dig down in this time frame. It's not one of my favorites. I typically stay on this time frame, so I'm waiting for the bounce here on the daily. Now, the bounce on the daily may not come. It hadn't come since back here in September, a year ago. Been waiting, waiting, waiting. So if this is one you want to chase after, watch that 4-hour chart. We break through that 618 at 480, where this last little consolidation was. Probably heading up to 500, 515. If it continues down to the roadmap line, we set up something different. But you got to see the bounce. If it just breaks through, this was one heck of a run on Ferrari, and we could definitely see a larger retrace here. Larger retrace could play out. Uber, I think Uber's relief rallying that Tesla didn't announce a competitor last night. Didn't announce the rideshare, so they're popping. Gonna hit that 87 target. MSTR rallying. Come on, go for the bigger targets. I'm still long shares of MSTR, looking for this 220, 230 area. And if we're on non-long mode, it's like 213, 225 area. You take your pick. Which one are we on? I like log mode, a little more optimistic. And I'm not sure if I'm going to sell those or not when we get there. I may hold on to them because Bitcoin really looks like it's going to run in a big way. And this is this acts like leverage Bitcoin, even though it's not. So this could break on out. And you may be like, well, that looks pretty exponential, JT. Well, it does and it doesn't. I mean, this moved up and retraced, and it hasn't really gone vertical. It's just popped up in here. Right? Not nearly like NVIDIA's chart or SMCI's chart. It's just kind of pulled up in here. We're sitting on the roadmap line. We could make another big move. So don't get too caught up in what you expect or what you think. Right there, I mean, we could see this 530. Wouldn't that be a wild one? Wouldn't this be wild? Look, we went to the 272, 2300. You'd be like, well, you know, that was high priced and we did the big split and all that. But check it out right here. Look, they've only got 180 million shares. So $1 move on this is only $180 million going into or out of the market. All right. Their market cap is only $36 billion. Only, I say only. Let's compare that. Apple's 3.4 trillion. All right. Microsoft 3 trillion. Nvidia 3 trillion. Alphabet 2 trillion. Amazon 2 trillion. Silver 1.8 trillion. Facebook 1.4 trillion. Bitcoin 1.2 trillion. You get the point? Even Tesla down here 792 billion. They keep borrowing money and buying Bitcoin. So this can rally pretty good and still not be a huge dent. And 180 million shares, I mean, that's not a ton of money. Moving into and out of the money when we're talking about all these trillions of dollars of companies. So something like Nvidia over here, $1 move is $24 billion in the market. Whereas something like SMCI, that's $500 million. $585 million for this to move $1. So it's 5 times bigger than this one right here, or 2.5 times bigger. All right. So that's one way to keep up with it. And how do you know? You just look at the number of shares outstanding. $1 move, that's how much money is moving into or out of the market. DPST, 3x leverage on banks, bouncing off the roadmap line, potentially triggering. Just clean this up really quickly. It did fire off this bigger move back here. Retraced again. Another potential entry. You could go for this 116 target right there. Or, excuse me, the Strawberry Dream talking to me a little bit there. And fired off the entry here, retraced, another potential entry, 130, 139. If you believe this is the bigger move going here, not too shabby. This is leveraged on banks, regional banks. And we're getting banking earnings coming up now. BAC, reporting on Tuesday. Wells Fargo, reported today. So we're getting this financial earnings. This is earnings season. We're going to get it ramping up next week. Morgan Stanley coming up next Wednesday. We got JP Morgan today. We've got TD. Ouch. Let's go with the US version. Can't get that. Don't see the earnings bubble in there. They got a fine from whatever it was. I don't remember. Money laundering fine. Ouch. May come down to the roadmap line. So, all right. Back to it. FAST. Fastenal. Yeah, that just worked out on that bounce right there. See, there's the bigger bounce, but there's also these intermediate bounces. They can play out right there. That one played out. It may retrace again after doing that. 81 would be the bigger picture target, though, right there. If we get the close above this today, that kind of triggers that bigger picture target. It's probably on a 3-day chart. Oh, it didn't touch. So I guess it's on a 2-day chart. TLSQ, short Tesla, popping today. Ouch. May come back up to the roadmap line. Be careful. This is a downward bias right now. And I don't have much to say here. No. At the moment, this isn't matching anything. We do have the resistance up here. This is leverage, so leverage stuff doesn't always follow the patterns, but that would be the resistance I would expect on TLSQ. If you had gone short into the robo event, then we might bounce down. That would be the primary expectation since we're below the roadmap line and been below the roadmap line for a while. All right, JPM just had that chart up and upside, the bigger upside from the bigger pattern up here around 230, 240. Had that for a while. FAS, financials, hitting targets. Watch out for the retrace. That was a smaller time frame bounce, 4 hour, right to the target. Took a little while. So we fired off the entry back here in September, and we just got the target right there in October. So it took almost 2 months. DJT. This is one I'm not sure where we're going now. We hit the downside target. Look at that. Everybody remember me calling for this? Like I said, we were going to retrace the whole big pop, come back to the lows. Look at that. We did it. Now we bounced to the roadmap line today. I mean, that did it, right? I mean, I got to wait for another pattern to show up because this is not it at this point. Now, let's just clear it all off. Congratulations, you won, but what's next, right? Where are we going next? So the next thing to watch. Oh, that scale on this thing's horrible. There we go. Okay, Google. Thank you. I'd expect this and this. The roadmap line retest right there. If we can hold that, break above here, 618, target right there. That's the pattern it's gonna have to set up. This one big move concerns me. We may bounce off the roadmap line, crush it below the 618, and go down to $10. If we come down here, break below that, coming down here. All right, that's what to watch out for right there. And Donald, thank you for becoming a channel member. I should have said that a minute ago. Thank you so much. And TSM, Taiwan Semi, come on. Target, this is still the target. Been the target, still the target, 203. We've set the trade. It's working, it's going. 203, 79, maybe 213, maybe 243, but that's the target. It's been the target since all the way back here in August. Still waiting. Sometimes these take a while. On the daily chart, they take 3 to 5 months. That's just the typical 3 to 5 months. I think the average across 4,200 tickers is 42 days, 42 trading days, which is like 2 months. All right. But you never know if yours is in the 2-month category, or is it going to be the one that lasts 4 months or 6 months? It's hard to say. So betting on 2 months, you probably run out of time. Like, think about it. If you buy your options for 2 months, it works to the target, but the theta that you bought eats out by 2 months. You didn't make any money, even though you got it right. So you got to go like twice as long or 3 times as long on these if you're buying options on the daily chart. All right. Even if you're feeling really good about it, something like, oh, this one on average only works in 11 days. So you got to be careful. Coin, grinding it down here under the roadmap line, holding the 618. Can we bounce? Is this a measured bounce? Doesn't prove it until we're above the roadmap line. Just waiting. Just waiting. WFC, nice pop. That's a bounce right there. That high, that low. Breaking above. Close today. Target. Close today above the roadmap line here. I mean, above that 618 here. 64, possibly 66 on the upside. COHR, at targets. Be careful. Watch out for the retrace. TWG. Watch out for the retrace. That's a crazy pop. Stuff that was declining. I go pull everything moving $2 or more up and $2 or more down. Build the list. And this one looks like we're going to come back for the roadmap line. Now, it could find support at the 4-hour, which we're there. Could bounce here. I like to look for the daily. It's just the time frame I like to look for the show. That doesn't mean it won't bounce here, break above the 618, and run up to another target. CEG. You can only watch so many time frames. All right. CEG may run back down to the roadmap line, but it may just do a 4-hour bounce. VST. Playing out. May retrace. AOS. Playing out. It did retrace, so we're looking for this to set up again. That high, that low, break back above the gap down to get the next run. Jump down on earnings, even though it beat on the top, missed on the, well, came in line on the top, missed on the bottom, pull back. Humana, potential for this to make a bottom here. It's got to beat the roadmap line to go higher. Has the opportunity to extend lower, as I've talked about earlier this week. PDD, still set for the 180 target right up here. I may actually buy some exposure to this. That's a really nice pattern. It doesn't have a long history. I waited over here, wasn't feeling it, waited. I might buy something now, though. I'll think about it. Look at the statistics on 100% of the time. Only 5 trades, though. 100% of the time it's worked out. Fired off the entry right there. Not too shabby at all. All right. FUTU. Yeah, good. SPY running. FUTU grinding at that resistance zone. It's set the stage to run up to 277 on the bigger picture here. Can we do it without retracing back to the roadmap line? I don't know. That's got to take a while. Could take all the way out here, like 26, 27 to get there. NRG, retracing probably back to the roadmap line would be my bet. TSLR, 2x long on Tesla. Retraced again. Back to this could be a measure bounce, roadmap bounce combo. This could be a rocket ship right here. That's a rocket ship pattern when we get the roadmap bounce and, which that's moved up, retraced, roadmap bounce and the measure bounce combining together. Now, these are leveraged, and reading into leverage is difficult. It's kind of like reading the tea leaves. Is this the truth, or am I just in fantasy? So we moved up right there, bounced off that 76, came back down. This 618. 18 is that target from the bigger pullback. This pullback, if we get above the 618, 14, 15, so that's inside. But the bigger potential here could shoot this one up to 21 to 27 on TSLL. See what happens on that one. All right, C-Web. Back to the roadmap line. I like TSLL a little bit better than TSLR. The liquidity has been a little better. C-Web, potential for that to come back. Be careful. China still working through some stuff. The yen still likely to come back down. That's leveraged China. PEG. Watch for that one to come back down. Be careful. That needs a retrace. Hadn't been back down here since February. AVGO. Still expect that target up there. We're set the stage, 194. TLST. That's just 2x Tesla. Same kind of pattern we've seen on the other ones. Like I said, TSLL is my favorite, but there's TSLR, TSLT, and this one can pop just the same. Bonus trade for today was EG. Now, this one's a little bit choppy. lot of bit choppy, all right? So be careful on this. I'll show you the statistics and the pattern here. Pull this up, open the browser, copy, and paste it over here. Control V, right here, EG. So we have this is high price stuff too. 412.87, 367.80 is the stop. Upside potential, 19 bucks. There's the high right there. There's the low right there, that 2-day swing. Profit factor 2.2 in the history, 33 trading days on average over 30 trades. So this is a statistically significant population with an 83% win rate. 83% of the time, it's worked out. So this is a high probability to work out type of thing. Now, it's been a little choppy. You got to make your decision. Like, do I like that chop? I don't know. I haven't trained my AI to evaluate them yet, but there's the entry. 412.84 is the target. Not a giant upside extension, just a little pop. Can we get it? Quite possibly. Now, 33 trading days on average. So you have to look at this. Like, is this my thing? 33 on average puts us out to 47 days. So you're going to have to get at least 2 months, if not 4 months, 5 months on this baby. Give it some time. Strawberry Dream. Give it a little time to work. All right. I'm going to go hang out in Discord. I do have a show coming up at 1 p.m. Got to go do my lunch for my son's culinary school thing and then be back by 1 p.m. for a show. And I don't even remember what it is. I've gone blank, man. It is... we're going to be talking about triple threat. That algorithm that keeps firing off back here. Triple threats. We're going to talk about my three favorite tickers for triple threat and how they work out at 1 o'clock today. So stay tuned in Discord. I'll be talking about that. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Be back later. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe out there. The expectation is still long over the next couple weeks. So thanks for coming. Make sure you hit the likes, the thumbs up if I said anything that's beneficial. And I'll see you again on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15. Be live.